Welcome to my YouTube channel. So today we are going to be discussing, what's been going on in society, right? So we're going to be discussing Derek Chauvin trial, as well as the Jonathan Pentland situation. I'm sorry, guys. Okay, let's just get into the video. Okay. So yes, we are going to be discussing those two topics, the trial of Derek Chauvin, and I'm going to give you my insights and thoughts on that. I feel like with the Derek trial, Chauvin, they're trying to come up with every little excuse to just not find this police officer that brutally murdered, an innocent pedestrian on the street, and they're trying to just say, like I heard the doctor say, the carbon monoxide from the car, of the police car, could have contributed to his death. And guys, when all of that was just debunked, by another medical professional, it's like, what are we do? Why are we trying to just dilly-dally around the fact that this guy was, murdered, and video shows that in plain sight and by multiple people, everyone got out their phones and took a video of that, so why are we trying to, that's not a good thing to do. Why are we trying to sugarcoat it and make it seem like this, the car was just running, and that's the case, and guys, I am the #1 fan of Dateline. I love it. I love seeing these things, and I feel like anyone that doesn't have like prior knowledge of like crimes and things in America, or kind of like any experience in watching Dateline, you're gonna be not aware of basically who is always the bad guy, and if you watch an episode of Dateline, you will see the demographic of the kind of people that tend to murder a lot and think they're going to get away with it, and they don't, and I've seen some episodes where it's like, okay, 5 years later this person gets caught, 10 years later the culprit gets caught, and we see that all the time I see that all the time on Dateline, and it's just like, you have to be knowledgeable in that kind of sense in terms of crime. I love crime shows, and it's surprising to me to think that, or to see some people that really think they can kill their wife and get away with it. And it's like, no. So once you just kind of like watch just one episode of Dateline, you'll kind of say, okay, the demographic that is shown on literally every episode, and you can tie that into literally what's happening in society today. Like, these type of people, white Caucasians, I'm going to go out there and say it, they feel that they are just kind of like untouchable. That is their narrative. That is their perception on life. Like, I'm a white dude. I have the upper hand at everything, and no one else's opinion matters to me or is going to be valued. And that is just literally what they think. And honestly, even in terms of crime too, like, I watch Dateline, guys. I'm not making this up. I see so many Caucasian dudes that kill their wife, or hire someone to kill their wife and try to play the innocent person there. And then, in trial, whoever they hired is now saying, well, no, he's the one that told me to do this. He told me to kill his wife. So literally, that was a case I watched that happened last week as well. And it was crazy, guys. So it's just like, in terms of going back to the Derek Chauvin case, right? I feel like, they just have to they have to be bold. They really have to just own up to things. A lot of white Caucasian guys, I feel, are just cowards and people that want to do things in the background and get credit for it. And I don't know. They don't seem like realistic people to me. They seem like clowns, puppets, people that just have no voice of their own. They always have to go around and do things. And I'm like, if you're not a realistic person, someone's going to call you out, literally. And that's what happened to Derek Chauvin in this case, regardless if he had the most prominent attorney in the world, we cannot we cannot negate the fact that this dude was basically murdered in plain sight. And, this police officer put his knee on his neck, in his little airway area, that basically caused him to pass away. So it's not the carbon monoxide in the air. It's not in the air. It's actually this murderer that calls himself a police officer that killed him, So it's just about coming to terms with the reality, not supporting evil, and being honest. We have to be honest in order to proceed and move forward in the next step of our lives. I feel everyone needs to do that. So they're gonna, all the trial is over, all the case have rested, everyone has rested on each side. So I cannot wait. I'm eager to know what's gonna happen next week in terms of seeing who exactly, or who's gonna be at fault, if people are gonna really put on their thinking caps and common sense and convict this murderer. And I feel like just once they do that, I'll be so happy with society, and I'll feel like, yes, not everyone's stupid, like some people have common sense out there. So I would feel so happy when that happens. I believe they said Monday, or is it Tuesday, they're going to give us the responses. I cannot wait, guys. And, racism is something that, CDC has determined can pose a really great impact into our health. That is something that has been researched and determined, as of literally just this week, that it's something that can just play into our health. Some people conscious, it's not going to be good. Some people are going to probably feel bad. Some people are probably going to commit suicide. Some people are probably going to, can't live with themselves. And yes, I do see that correlation on how it does affect, it can have an effect on one's life for sure. So I'm so glad that came about, guys. But we should not, if you're watching this video, please do not support evil. We know what some whites are good, some whites are bad, but if you see something negative happening, like all those people that were on this little corner store and saw this guy getting murdered, stand up for what's right. You could have just saved someone's life, and let's say that, no one was there to watch, this George Floyd get killed. What if the same police officer went out again and killed somebody, or killed your loved one, or did something like that? So it's just important we do stop the bad guys in this world. A lot of times they can be camouflaged as good. A lot of people tend to think whites are always good, white privilege, this is good, this is that. But once you watch an episode of Dateline, I promise you, your whole mind and theory is going to be out the window, because you'll be like, oh my God, how could someone that looks so good, that looks so sweet, that looks so kind, do this to their wife or murder these people? It's going to be like kind of like that hard truth to kind of realize and take in. So it's just so important you do get knowledgeable on what's going on in society, what's going on in the world, and understand that, it's not good to be a fake person. It's not good to be evil to someone else, especially if that, that person's innocent, or especially if you just have the evidence in plain sight, like the video showing this guy matching on this guy's neck and killing him and giving him no airway. So it's just so important, guys. My hopes for the trial and the outcome is that I do hope that they do go ahead and convict this guy of murder. He is a murderer, and all the rude police officers that were around him should know that it's terrible, and just stand up for what's right. That's all I'm going to say there. But in terms of me, I'm not a racist person. I have talked to Caucasian people. Now, one thing I will admit is that I am not in close cahoots or friends with any Caucasian person. I just want that to be known. I don't really talk to them on a normal day. So it's kind of like, unless it's like for a business or something like that, or if I'm going to the dentist, of course, or we're on the phone, but never as my friend. I feel like they're kind of like people I can't trust. That's just my little opinion there. So, but of course that can always change. Opinions are never facts, and it can always change. I don't believe every white person out there is racist. God forbid, no, I doubt that. But I just know what I watch on the news, and I know what's going on in society, and I love to be careful. So that brings us into our next topic, which is the Jonathan Pentland situation. Guys, this is not funny. The Jonathan Pentland situation, and this just kind of goes back to what I just said. White Caucasian men tend to feel they can rule the world. They can do anything they want to do. They are basically God in society, and I think that is not true. They're not God, and they should know that. But they have a high ego. But of course, I'm not the one to bring anyone's ego down. But of course, in the Jonathan Pentland situation, he did something that was just senseless. It was unwarranted to basically put your hands on another pedestrian just walking on the street. That's rude, like I would hate to just be walking on the street, like I've been to California and I've walked on the streets, but no one has ever just, put their hands on me. Thank you, God. But, but the point of the matter is, and of course, I would never go to, well, actually, yes, I have walked in a predominantly white neighborhood and I've seen white people walking on the street. But thankfully, no one ever put their hands on me, right? But I think in this case, that's not the situation here. What happened here was that I think the police was called on that, little African American dude. And I think he got into an altercation with some girls. I had no idea. But Jonathan Pentland shouldn't have intervened in that situation. Yes, he does have the background of a military drill sergeant or whatever he called himself, but he's not a police officer. He shouldn't have assessed the situation. He should have minded his own business, although he does want to do the right thing for his community and help the girls out. But if the girls are not being murdered or getting stabbed or saying, oh my gosh, help me, but then again, police officers always listen to the white Karen, so that's typical. But maybe that's the case. That's why he wanted to confront that dude. And he just did it in a really unprofessional way. You never walk up to somebody and put their hands on them. That's asking for a fight, so he did the wrong thing. He did the wrong thing by just insulting this young dude, walking on down the street, and even though a girl said, hey, look what happened to me, he should have asked the girl, he should have asked both parties, what are you saying this guy did to you? Before you start attacking that black dude, right? You want to assess everything. People lie, people lie every day. So, and bringing it back to kind of like that scenario where the Emmett Till situation, it was kind of similar in that sense, like Emmett Till died at the hands of a white guy and his friends because the wife lied and said, hey, I think he was, pursuing me in an intimate way or something like that, and told her husband. And the husband got furious and, killed this 13-year-old boy for no reason, or he was 11. I really don't even know, guys, but it's the history that's playing now in society. Like, let's say Jonathan went into his house and got a gun and shot that dude, just because of a white girl saying, I'm pissed off that, or complaining to Jonathan or saying, help me, and I don't think they didn't show the video where Jonathan was asking the girl what happened. They just show him confronting this one black dude and saying he does not belong in the area, in the neighborhood. And I think that's so rude. And that's why I'm just going to make a public disclaimer. I would never date a Caucasian dude. You have to be the same color as me, from the same continent as me, Africa, in order for me to even talk. Like, I don't even want to have a conversation with them. That's how bad it is. Like, I do not like to carry on a conversation with people of that color or of that race. It's just, it's never going to go right. So that's why I tend to avoid them. If they talk to me, I kind of just ignore them. If they tell me I just ignore and go. I just really don't have time to kind of, give them any time of my day. My time is very important. So, and I don't like to waste time. And I feel that, with Caucasians, it's like some are good, some are bad. And I'm not going to be the one to decipher and kind of just go through the list of who's good and who's bad. I don't want to do it. So I just tend to leave that whole race alone, let them deal with themselves. They've been doing it for years and decades and centuries. They know what they're doing. They know what's good for them, and let them do that. So I never try to intervene. I don't like to be that middle person in between. I just do what I feel is right. And, if they tell me hi, I say hello. But in terms of having a serious conversation about anything now, I'm like, oh no. After what I've seen in society, social media and all of that, no thank you. So, guys, that is just the thing there. Jonathan Pentland was in the wrong, and that is why everyone in that community came out and started doing a protest around his beautiful home that he says, I live here and it's, I know each neighbor, everyone came out to his home and started doing that protest because you cannot insult somebody that's just walking on the road. That's not an offense. In the video, he tried to say, well, you are harassing this area and this community. And that's not what he was doing. Him being present on the sidewalk was not a harassment to anyone. No one died and nothing tragic happened to anyone, for that guy to just, from that guy just standing there. So that is the point I'm trying to make, is that, I think Caucasian men just have they're always going to have a hard time in life because they're always going to be judged for the things they do. And same thing for African Americans too. You can be innocent and walking on the road and you're still going to be wrong. So kind of what I do is I just don't deal with them. They're not really important people for me. They're not people I want to give my time of day to. I feel like they have a lot to prove in society as well. And I don't need to prove anything to anyone. So that's why I just stay on my own. If they talk to me, I try to ignore them. Even if someone's telling me hi or I like that, I just, because it can lead into something negative. They know how to turn something, nothing into something. And just referring back to this Jonathan Pentland situation, what the young boy did was really good. He didn't fuss at, Jonathan. He just said, well, I want to go home. There's many ways for me to get out of here, and gladly someone took a video of that, which is really good. And it's just funny, guys. It's like, what is going on in our society today? Like, you cannot be black and do anything any longer. It is a crime to be black, literally. So that is something that should not happen, guys. And let me know what you think in the comments down below. I'd love to know what you guys think on situations like this. And give me your insights. Let me know what you feel. Let me know what you believe. Let me know your insights and leave a comment down below.